Welcome back to Cody in the Cinema. Today we're discussing Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, the new 4K release from the Criterion Collection, a really fun, enjoyable, well-shot Western that I believe should be a part of any Criterion Collection, and especially one that Western fans need to see and need to have. In fact, this particular version has, I think, 4 versions of the film in it. I mean, look at this. You get 4 discs there and this awesome artwork. I love it. It lines up with the colors of my channel, actually, pretty well. But I watched the 50th anniversary release 4K, and outside of, let me say, maybe Man from Laramie, this was the most New Mexico feeling of the films. I've been to New Mexico. One time I took my fiance and I at the time, we took our van and we drove to New Mexico and did a speed run of all the national parks there. And I didn't realize on the way back that we would be going through the Billy the Kid Highway, and we stopped by a little museum. And that whole road trip was so fast and such a blur for us that when I went and watched this movie again, for the first time rather, I was brought right back to New Mexico. And I've been a few different times, but I appreciated how much this beautiful, stylistic 4K put me back there. And that part, I think, for some filmmakers, they might look at it as kind of drab or plain, but Sam Peckinpah here does a good job of making it exciting. And so I had certain specific thoughts about expectations for this Western that I wanted to talk about. For a lot of the movie, you know the plot is Pat Garrett is chasing Billy the Kid, and we know, it's not really a spoiler, that Pat Garrett eventually has to shoot his old buddy, Billy the Kid. It's just a well-known thing, and it's not like something that's going to surprise you at all when you're watching the film. For a while in this one, it felt a little bit more to me like Chris Christopherson, who played Billy the Kid, and James Coburn, who played Pat Garrett. Like they were just 2 really cool cowboys doing cool cowboy stuff, and it seemed a little bit more of that flavor than necessarily a great retelling of this story. It's very episodic. Some shootouts happen, some gunfights. It isn't a very gripping story necessarily. What does invite you in is just how sold out they are to their characters, and I really did like Chris Christopherson as Billy the Kid. I thought he brought a lot to the role, other than another person I can think of who I really enjoyed playing that role. But the real standout here is James Coburn as Pat Garrett. His demeanor, I love his outfit. That Man in Black thing, man, it's so good. And as it develops, and eventually really toward the end, I did get a good sense of what it was going for with how it wanted to tell that story. But I do want to caution you that it doesn't have the same consistent leveled storytelling as something that John Ford might have created. So do be aware of that, but it is a blast to watch, and the environments are quite lived in. It looks so good. I think about some of the Westerns I've seen in the last few years that don't look as lived in and look a little bit more CGI, kind of phony, something like that. This 100% will convince you that you are in a dusty place in the West, as much as anything I've seen. Visually, I could put this almost up there with some of the best, like The Searchers, Once Upon a Time in the West, movies like that. But storytelling-wise, maybe just a little less. There are 2 characters that I wish had had more screen time. Harry Dean Stanton never got enough screen time, not even in Paris, Texas. Okay, he's hilarious. He delivers some zingers, and Jason Robards, who I really love as Cheyenne in Once Upon a Time in the West. He has a small role, and he takes a good advantage of that as well. The soundtrack, different people have different ways they feel about that. I largely ignored it. It didn't matter much to me, although I did find myself liking it more toward the end and getting used to it. But be aware that the soundtrack isn't made to make you feel like you're well in the past, okay? Knocking on Heaven's Door is a song that's used multiple times in this Western. So My overall impression of this one is it's entertaining, it's well shot, it's incredibly well acted, and at times it's very tense, especially the scenes where Pat Garrett gets to be mean. There is a really good scene that does not involve Billy the Kid in a bar where he forces some characters to do some things. He forces one to read, the labels of cans. That one's real effective. And the performances are good. It's entertaining. The dialogue's good, but it does need a little bit tighter storytelling. That having been said, this is right up there, like maybe with that second tier of Westerns. And that still means it's very good. You do need to see it. You do want to have this copy. And I will tell you that if you haven't seen it, the cover here is absolute genius because it intrigues you if you haven't seen it. Whenever I picked up this, I was hesitating on buying this because I'd heard mixed reviews about the film, and the cover almost helped sell me to it. And now that I've seen it, I'm not just intrigued by it, I understand the cover a little bit more. So it's a genius graphic design. It's one of their more successful ones to me from the Criterion. There have been a few lately that are a little underwhelming, but this one was spot on, and just everything about the production of this is great. The special features, oddly enough, I haven't actually watched any because I didn't find any that interested me that much. That was kind of a downer. But I am planning on reading through this booklet that looks great. You got James Coburn here, if I don't misspeak, but James Coburn on the back. And a little bit like I don't know what I wanted out of the special features, but I didn't quite all the way get there with these. So if you have watched through the special features and you like them and you find something interesting that you see that maybe I should check out, let me know. But those are just kind of the initial thoughts I had of it. If you have any non-spoiler Billy the Kids that you want to let me know about, that would be great, that you can leave in the comments below. And any other thoughts you have about Westerns, please remember to like, subscribe, leave comments. It really helps grow the channel, and I absolutely just, doing these Western Wednesday videos, sharing my love for this genre, and underappreciated genre, is just one of my favorite things I do during the week. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.